Hi guys, it's Simon here. Look, I'm really sorry there's been a massive disconnect with uploads. School took over and, it got crazy. But I'm pretty much back on tonight and hopefully back on for the rest of the year. So, the last time I saw you, I had done a reaction to the top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels, and so I promised a Hump Day Hopkins rehash. And there's a very special one tonight because up the top of Katie's feed at this point of shooting the video, because she's just put a new one on, is a status about her brain surgery. She had to go in to have brain surgery to remove part of her brain that could give her detrimental problems with her epilepsy. And it had to be done while she was awake. So you can see how pretty much scary that is. She just came out and tweeted, after 12 hours in the unit, they still can't shut me up. So she's on a speedy recovery. So I thought, instead of going through the whole feed, I'll go through tweets that stand out to me as funny, because laughter is the best medicine. So, anyway, for those of you who don't know, the Hump Day Hopkins rehash is essentially I go through the tweets put on by controversial columnist Katie Hopkins and read them back for your own amusement, or for just a perception of how different things are going on in the world. Anyway, she wrote a couple of really good columns this week, so I'm really, really proud of her for doing that, especially one about Kanye West, which I thought was absolutely fantastic, and I'll pop the link to that in the description box, so you can go and have a look. This one she tweeted, Kanye will go the full Fukushima and tweet pics of himself exposing his manhood tattooed with Amber Rose's face. I mean, that... it's kind of heading down that road. She also put, hey Kanye West, I'm white, but listen, when you go the full Fukushima, I want to be in the throw. And to be fair, she's not the only one. Everyone's going to be in the front row when that meltdown happens. Okay. Kiki Johnson says, never in my life did I ever think I would agree with a single word Katie Hopkins had to say. I was wrong. So there we go, she's starting to make friends. Which is, I know, sounds weird. Katie, friends. I'm surprised too, but I'm really happy that she's retweeting a lot of support that people are putting out for her rather than just hate. It shows that she's kind of in that position that she's grown used to people liking her. And I think that that's really sweet. It's really sweet development. Here's another funny tweet. She quotes Kanye, you start a school in Africa like you help the country. And Katie says, country, continent, you say tomato, I say stupid. Which I think is all we need to say to sum up this issue. Melanie Connor said that the Kanye West column was a fantastic article, think he's unhinged, bet Mark Zuckerberg hasn't stopped laughing yet. Especially given that he's reached out to the one place that Mark Zuckerberg will be most certain to look. His rival Twitter. Like, come on. At least use sense and get a Facebook account up or something. Like, sheesh. Although I do kind of agree. He kind of went all nice and soppy at the start of 2015, and then he kind of went nasty again, and then he went nice. I know that this is a pretty unpopular opinion, and I don't mean to sound like really insinuating, but it looks like it could be bipolar disorder. Like, I'm just saying, I don't have a full medical code, but I'm just saying the constant up and down mood swings are kind of a sign that something might be wrong, especially with the big load of tweets that he did over the course of last week and this week. Like, something's clearly going awry. Hopefully he can fix it, because I don't like people going down the drain. Anyway. Here's another one. She mentioned an LBC article of I Am Not a Troll, and she put alongside it, if you put yourself out there, expect to hear some blunt truths. If you don't like it, go home and sit on your sofa. And that's true. Because, to be honest, when I posted up my reaction video to Katie Price winning Celebrity Big Brother last year, I got a negative comment in there, and I was like, ugh. I was a bit iffy about it, but I eventually grew over it and I got used to it. I don't think, though, I'll ever get used to people saying bad things. You can expect it and then you get this quenchy feeling inside, but you kind of have to learn to roll with the punch through it. So, that's pretty much that. She's got a point there. She complimented Callum Best. Well done, big man. Nicely done. I assume he did an interview or something. I need to go back and check through. But it's good that she's complimenting him. He follows me on Twitter as well, so that's always a good sign. Lil Shank says, dumbest article I've ever read about Katie's Kanye column. And Katie says, you can read? Like, I love this. And then The Life of Patrick says, if Lil Shark don't trust you, I'ma shoot you. And then Katie's like, do you come with subtitles? It's true. I need Urban Dictionary to probably translate that. Because I'm generally so out of the loop with modern lingo, it is not even funny. Never mind that one. Trinidad James said, hang on, is this the real Trinidad James? If that is the real Trinidad James saying that about Katie Hopkins, then good on him. He says, this was the best column I've read in a while. Mikey Swoon quotes Katie Hopkins, you say tomato, I say you're stupid, with the laughing so hard I'm crying emoji. I'm going to ignore that one because that seems a bit nasty, and I'm not sure if I agree. She says this thing here that I may have to talk about. Like Beyonce at the Super Bowl, Kanye turned music into a battle of black versus white when there was none to be fought. There may or may not be one in the music industry. It's dependent on where you stand on the whole Grammys and Oscars sort of thing. I personally think that things are fine. Hopefully, fingers crossed they're fine and Taylor Swift won her Grammy based on merit rather than skin colour. But Beyonce's thing and Kendrick's performances, these aren't highlighting problems in the music industry. They're highlighting the struggle of anyone who has a brain versus the racial problems in the US police force and in other countries. That's what the main focus of their performances were. So I felt like that kind of flied over her head a little bit. But so hopefully she eventually comes to realise that and realise, oh, it wasn't that, it was the other thing. Foresight comments, this is one of the best articles on the net. Kanye West, stop stealing our oxygen and leave this world. Oh, I think that's a little bit harsh. Okay, this one seems really wrong, but, Mickey the Poet says, Katie Hopkins, this is my special message to the world that all humans are equal, we must live in peace. And then Katie says, Jesus, go boil the dolphin. Like, it's so politically incorrect, and I'm probably going to feel like really stupid laughing at it later. Now, this is one that's actually I'm looking through. This one actually seems weirdly thought out well. She says, Dave said he's won back control of UK from Europe. Odd given that we can't deport Muslim pedos from our jails just in case they feel scapegoated. And this is kind of what I feel. If these asylum seekers want to come in, that's perfectly fine. Because we have the right to extend helping hands to those who are seeking shelter. But the second you start breaking out our laws and try and act like you're above everyone else in terms of breaking those laws, you're going somewhere else. I'm sorry, if you're going to come to a country, you should at least have an idea of the law and follow it bang on. That's what it is. So she's putting in sense with that comment, which I think is really good. Connie Priestley said article about Kanye is actually spot on, which is good. Kaz says, why can't we deport you? And Katie says, because I refuse to fly with fat people. the first thing I'm going to talk about on my show is a fat tax for fat flyers, and then gestures towards Gemma Collins as an example. Like, I'm now going to gesture in this direction because I think it might be slightly more tactful. I feel sad that If Katie Hopkins Ruled the World isn't coming back. I thought it was good. Katie says, my 7-year-old did this. It is because I never breastfed and bought Boogoff baby powder from Asada. Nipple Nazis do one. And this is what it is. As soon as I push it up a little bit closer. It's a sign of apples and all various different types of fruit equaling numbers. Which I think is really funny. And I'm used to that. My sister, when she was younger, drew a picture of a man with 3 arms coming out of his head. So I like that sort of kid thing. The answer is 14. If you don't get 14, look more closely, says Dean Gaviscol about the picture thing. I'm going to read through more. Georgie Marley says, ha ha ha, Katie Hopkins' article about Kanye is spot on and made me laugh out loud. This one, this was actually mentioned outside the period, but I should say, Katie said, British taxpayers spent $10 million hunting baby Maddie because her parents didn't want to waste €10 on a babysitter. I have to think that that kind of is a little bit true. Unless Maddie's the age where she can stay home, and given from the photos that were on her column about the issue, I don't think that she was able to stay in a secluded house on her own without supervision. And Elle says, I hate her, but she has a point. Raymond Reddington says also about that tweet, best thing you've ever said. I'll ignore that one because I'm not sure about that particular issue. I literally had to read up on several of the things. Daily Mail US said, Hillary's verdict on whether America is ready for a woman president, I really don't know. And Katie says, there's no such thing as a woman president. There is just a president. Push the oxygen away, damn it. Which is weirdly what a lot of people supporting Bernie Sanders have said. They're worried that Hillary will get in purely because she's a woman. I'd rather look at the policy side of things before casting a vote. And which is weird that I'm talking about this because I don't even live in the US. Like, why am I even bringing it in? Another one about the Euro thing. Agent 4747 says, we're all thinking it, but she said it. Never change. Katie said, made a rocket, said school. I'm not carrying a willy into school, said mum. And this is what it looks like. Turn away, children, turn away, turn away, turn away. Oh dear. This one, actually, she has a point with this one. Pope says Trump not Christian for wanting to build a wall. Hang on, I agree with the Pope on this one. Trump's an asshole. In the words of Gene Wilder from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, strike that, reverse it. This says, Pope says Trump not Christian for wanting to build a wall. Catholic Church built walls to protect pedo priests for decades. I don't like Donald Trump. She has a point, though, with the walls protecting the pedo priests. We're literally having a nightmare with the George Pell case down under. Never mind about that. More Donald Trump stuff. Katie, you can do 10 times better than him. Maybe go and find Michelle Visage and sort out your issues, because I hate it when my two faves are fighting. The Gay UK magazine mentioned something about the LGBT Awards doing some spewing stuff, especially with the Zayn Malik Musical Artist nomination. He could be nominated for Best Ally, because he hasn't come out as gay or bi. Or transgender, for that matter. And Katie said on this whole thing, since when did a community preaching tolerance become so intolerant of others not gay enough to be included? She has a point there. Another one on the Euro thing, and Connor's putting his hands up in praisal. And it's a crap portrait of Katie Hopkins that is simultaneously crap and angry. Never mind. There it is, from that angle. Weirdly, there is quite a likeness, I have to admit. I'm not sure what that one is. I need to go through the backdrop a little bit more. See, this is the thing. I have to do research on these. Uh-oh. They're sending in more things to Adam Hills because he ripped into her once. Right, your royal popiness. Are you ready for my latest column mail online at Daily Mail? You cast the first stone, I threw a hand grenade back. She did. It's an issue that needs to be talked about. Okay. James says, I would like to thank Katie Hopkins for inspiring me to shed some weight. 1 stone down already. I'll be summer ready in no time. And Katie says, very well done. You have changed your life, binning the excuses, eating a bit less and moving a lot more. See, I feel like those things are the main important basis of an argument and it's good, but she builds up all the other stuff around it so that it gets attention and she gets attention. And she admitted this to Michelle Visage on Celebrity Big Brother. So she knows what she's doing. Nikki Nweet must have come against her fat club or something, and her account got suspended by Katie. Well, Katie complained to Twitter and they suspended it or something. And Katie said, sure, you can say anything to me. Call me old, horseface, threaten me, but no one messes with Fat Club 10,000. Ugh. The things far away are getting even more tiny for me to read. Elise on the Pope incident. Oh shit, I agree with Katie Hopkins. Paul asks, has Katie Hopkins ever been wrong? Something I ask the Mirror every morning. Oh, the Mirror, the newspaper. I thought she meant she actually looks in the mirror. Oh dear. Andy says, I'm getting a bit worried. I'm starting to find Katie Hopkins attractive. And Katie says, my vagina can suck up 1.4 litres of water in a bath. Yes, I caught in a pint jug. Which would pretty much shut anyone else down, unless you're into that sort of thing. Tumblr. And you want anything, you will find it on Tumblr. Believe me, you may. Lord Boone says, and pray tell what the Mirror says. And Katie says, the Mirror tells me, no, darling, you are always right, and then cracks a little in despair. I think that's actually going well. I'll move up a little bit more because it's essentially mentioning the same thing. I'm not sure about Gove being out. Billy Wilson says about the Pope column, breaking news, Katie Hopkins in Talking Sense shock. King Eric says about the Euro thing, well said Katie Hopkins. As Sam Russell said, for once she says something not completely stupid. And Katie says, translation, I am too cowed by my peers to say she is right. Hashtag Sand Strong Honey. Katie also says, I have been out with 5 marks in my life and not 1 Peter. My dad welcomed them by number. Evening Mark 3. And then Stephen Grant said, did he gas Mark 4? And she retweeted, so that is a yes. Another one on the Euro thing. Jen says, actually agree with her for once. There's stuff about a referendum that I've completely missed. Ignore that one. And then she mentions about the Maddie case, which I'm not sure if I've already said about this. About the particular Maddie case, she went missing in 2013 and the case has really been taking central stage in media for quite a bit. So Katie kind of stickered a little bit of blame to the parents who left her behind and didn't pay for a babysitter. They went out just eating and drinking. And mentioned some of the things, like, I can get not wanting to talk to the police because you're distraught, your daughter's just gone, But finding her thing and going, put it in the wash, you would want to keep that thing close to you because it would kind of have like memories and kind of like an intuition sort of thing. Like, you wouldn't want to throw it in the wash and just get rid of that complete kind of like aura of the child that's been left behind. And she mentions this in her column. So I feel like that's a little bit weird. Also, when apparently Maddie said to her mother the previous night, "Why didn't you come when Sean and me were crying?" That, I feel, is a massive, massive thing. Because any mother, when they hear their child crying, will run, literally rush to the room and see what's going on and try and comfort them. Like, that's just mother's instinct. They literally teach you this in bloody birthing school 101. So why did you ignore? Why? So some blame has to be laid on them. Somewhat. Louisa Zisman says, Katie Hopkins, Mail Online, brave Katie, they are so litigious, but there is defo more to this than meets the eye. I agree. I'm not trying to comfort them. I'm not trying to say like they arranged for like a kidnapping or anything.